Yeah, so good afternoon. My name is David, and today I am running another session of Bite Marks. Bite Marks is a Powered by the Apocalypse role-playing game of Werewolf Pack Dynamics by Becky Anderson of Black Armada Games. It's a game about playing werewolves, seeing the troubles they get into, the various relationships within the pack, as well as outside of it, and how all that plays together. In this particular run of the game, we, myself and the players, all read the novel Wolfsong by T.J. Klune, and we're using that as a kind of shared point of reference for the fiction in our game. Well, not outright following it, but that's a kind of a touchstone for our game. This game is being arranged and run via the Gauntlet, which is an online role playing group. We have a calendar of online games like this one that people can sign up for. There will be a link to that in the to our website in the description below, where you can find out more about what we do, as well as running games like this. We also have a number of podcasts, as well as a monthly gaming zine called Codex, which you can find out information on all that stuff at the website. This is now I believe, the fourth of 6 sessions. So hopefully by this point, if you are watching this at home, then you should know roughly what's going on. If not, I would probably advise going back to an earlier episode to start off with. First things first, I'm going to get everyone to introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about their character, and what they were up to last time. I'll go in character keeper order as ever. We're missing Stephen at the minute, so Sabine, if you'd like to start us off.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sabine. I use any pronouns, and I am playing Ivar Anderson, who is the pack's enforcer. He's guilty, loyal, and acerbic, and he's an older guy, mid-50s, I think. He's been there for a long time. He wasn't born a wolf. He was bitten when he was a young person. He had a wife who was then ill. Then they tried to save her by turning her into a werewolf. It didn't work that well, because in the fiction of Wolfsong, a wolf has to have a tether that binds them to who they really are. And if they can't fix their tether to someone, they become omegas, and that's bad because they are just spiraling out of control. And that happened to Enid, and Ivor had to put it down. So he's really eaten by the whole thing. He has a son, Paul, who is kind of a very important NPC, but I'll leave it to somebody else to explain the whole Paul situation.
Brilliant, thank you very much. And Drew, if you would like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about who you're playing.
I am Drew. I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Jaxon, who is the PAX fixer. He is a minor Instagram celebrity by day, torn, charming, and connected werewolf by moonlight. And he is currently still very upset about the recent change in PAC leadership and the fact that he felt it pressured him into coming out as a werewolf to his boyfriend, Paul, the aforementioned NPC. And I'm sure we'll see how that plays out as we go. But he is usually pretty conflicted about the whole werewolf versus human thing. So we'll see how it goes today.
Brilliant, thank you very much. And last but not least for now, Jamie, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about who you're playing.
Hi, so I'm Jamie. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm playing Ghost, who uses he, they pronouns. Ghost is inspired by the patron saint of Leandro, who is with us in spirit, which means that Ghost is very sad, but very well-meaning, loving werewolf. Their particular heartbeats are loving, secretive, and sacrificing. They have the ability to feed on dreams to learn more information. They are deeply magical, and right now they're trying to figure out what's going on with the land, and they're trying to honor who is quite possibly their father who showed up in dreams recently, except we have this pack tradition, this law of not trusting anyone we meet in a dream, which Ghost is pointedly ignoring. But they're doing their best. And aside from that, recently Ghost has belatedly realized that Cody, the young alpha, has a thing for them, and Ghost doesn't know what that means quite yet, and is trying to figure that out. It didn't quite sink in that now he's with the ex of his brother's ex, who used to be the alpha and is now the alpha. It's a big mess, right? It's a very big mess. But that's Mike Marks, and that's Ghost.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So just to recap on where we were from last time. We'd obviously had Cody take over the position of alpha from Marcus. So that was technically the time before last. It was the end of that session, but we'd had that kind of aftermath, and Cody starting to actually properly assert control over the pack. Some various grumblings and interaction around that. We'd had the disclosure to Paul about the existence of werewolves and the fact that both his boyfriend and dad were werewolves, as well as his best friend Cody. And then the pack came together to drive off a group of Omegas, werewolves without a tether, without control usually over their actions, who had been stalking the lands outside the pack territory, in particular around an old cave, where you got the impression of something unusual, out of the ordinary going on there, something that had perhaps there was some connection between the Omegas and the caves, anyway, put it that way. I think where we left it last time was with the Omegas being successfully driven off. If there is anything people want to do, like in the immediate aftermath of that scene, in particular, as well, if there's anything you want to do regarding the cave, we can leap into that now. Or if people want to kind of jump ahead to some point afterwards, that's also fine.
I think we would look at the cave immediately, right? I mean, we know there's something in there, and just go away, leave it alone, and have another think and chase our own tails. That doesn't seem sensible. So
can I also say that chase our own tails sounds like a slang that we should have, like I feel like that makes sense, right? Like going around in circles or not doing what we want to do. I'm just gonna add it. I'm just saying. Anyway, go ahead.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, I actually thought, what would be navel gazing if you're a werewolf? Chase your own tail.
There we go. Yeah. Nice.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'll leave Cody to. Oh, Steven's there. Cool. Then I'll wait.
Hey, really sorry about getting in late. I lost track of the time.
No worries.
No worries. No, it's not a problem. We've literally only just started in play for realsies. So we're just picking up on the tail of where we were last session. I believe at least a couple of people are planning to investigate the cave where you battled the Omegas. But feel free to jump in when you are ready, Stephen. We can carry on until such a point. But not a problem. Cool. Cool. As I said, this cave I'll give you a brief. It's not like a big wide entrance to the cave. It's the entrance is like tall enough that a person could enter without crouching, though it does start to get a bit narrower as you get further in. It's obviously it's sort of into the rock of the hillside. That there is kind of a layer of dried earth just on the, certainly at the entryway. It goes back in a bit further, obviously, and then you can make out a tunnel that does get quite a bit narrower, that winds off at the back of this cave. It's the scent of the omegas is strong in this cave. It's clear that they have been spending a lot of time in here. This is obviously not their territory. This is clearly a place they've spent a lot of time, and that scent still hangs heavily in the air here.
So as a wolf, you'd be able to get in pretty well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because on 4 legs, it makes a lot of sense. Poor Jaxon. I think Ivar will take point because enforcer stuff. Get in there, try to sniff out what's going on. But I think he'll look to Ghost if they want to come.
I think when you turn to Ghost, Ghost immediately goes to your side, like without question, and brushes up against you and telepathically, there's just a word that comes through: careful.
Yeah, and I think Ivar will just nudge him a little, like let me take point. But he goes and he is careful. His hackles are raised, his ears are kind of perked up, like and swiveling around, so you won't miss a sound.
Excellent. So yeah, this sounds like you are get the right word around. Yeah, harnessing the wolf here. Does that sound fair? Trying to find out what's going on.
Yeah, that seems fair. If those basic wolf tabs. Give in to the wolf, no, harness the wolf.
Yeah,
when you use your wolf senses and instincts, yeah, it's with feral.
With feral, yeah.
Yes, it is with feral. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was double checking today with my notes.
Okay, let's see how that goes. We'll roll. Hello. Oh, I have to choose dice. I always forget that.
Oh yeah.
I'm at a 9. We still have pack pointies to spend. No, I think we threw them out. Oh, didn't we? No, we had. Would you mind if I spend one of the pack pools to push that up to a 10 so I can ask more questions here?
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Yeah.
And yeah, you are working together with at least Ghost on this, so that's fine.
It doesn't matter anyway.
Oh, and yes, of course it doesn't, because
I'm alone.
Oh
wolf.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a 10, and that means I get to ask 3 questions. Yay! So, what smells wrong here?
Yeah.
Start with that one.
So, as I said, there's this strong scent of these other wolves here, and it does also trail into this tunnel that you're going into as well. Not as strongly. Like, it's clear that they've been like sleeping and living in that outer bit of the cave, but they have definitely been into this tunnel. But undercutting it you can smell a scent of it smells like blood, but old blood, not not fresh blood, but like blood that has like congealed and possibly even like slightly spoiled, slightly rotted, that sort of acrid scent to it as well. But what is, and that, like, you know, that might make sense if they'd been, you know, hunting and stuff, but you don't smell any scent of like flesh accompanying it. It just smells like blood. It's and that is definitely further down this tunnel. You can smell it coming from there, and there's just something unpleasant about it beyond just the fact that it isn't a nice smell. There's just an edge to it that's causing your hackles to raise.
Give a low snarl. And I think if you say I can still smell it, I'm not familiar at all with how long a wolf would be able to smell such a thing, but I believe that I don't know, how long would that keep? Months?
Yeah, it's difficult to say. But yeah, it would. It's normally you would expect it to. Yeah, it would be in an enclosed space like this. It might the smell might stay around for longer than you would expect. Not than you would expect. I mean, but longer than it would if it was out on the side of the hill, for instance. Just because obviously it's more confined, less subject to breezes and rainwater washing away whatever's there. So it would be it would take it could be relatively old, but we're not talking. You wouldn't expect it to be something that's, if there has been blood spilt here, you'd expect it to maybe be at most a few months old.
Okay. Cool. Not cool, but you know what I mean. Okay, I'll think before asking anything, I will press further.
Yeah, sure thing.
Because I want to see what that blood source is.
Yeah. You will enter. You'll travel down further into this tunnel. There is probably like, you can see a very, very faint trickle of water running down. Not as much as a stream, but you reckon like probably in heavy, when there are heavy rains and stuff, this probably there probably is a bit more of a flow of water down the sort of little channel that's worn into the floor of this tunnel. And as you come down, you can feel before you get there this starts opening up into a wider cavern again. There is, by this point, even in wolf form, there is very little light down here, and it's difficult to make out much further in front of you. You can kind of see between. You can see what's immediately around you, but there's that kind of darkness that's where just the light down here is that's leaking in from outside. It's very faint. But yeah, it widens up a little into this bigger cavern. You can feel a sort of space opening up around you, even if you can't quite see to the edges of it. There is a small pool of water. It looks like on the floor, in part of the floor here, that smells not. maybe slightly stagnant, but not too bad. But the scent, that blood scent is very, very strong in this cavern. But it smells almost like it's coming from all around in the cavern, not just from like one spot.
I give a confused whine. Because Ghost is here, and it's more like a what the if I were a human, I would say an impolite word now. But I'm a wolf, so that's PG-13 for sure. Still, okay. I still got 2 more questions, I guess. So, oh yeah. What is dominant in this situation? Maybe.
Yeah.
Weird, because what I want to know actually is there something to discover that is there a common theme to what's happened here? Anything like that?
Yeah, I think what you will get is that there is a sort of an emotional feeling to this place that you pick up on. There is a strong feeling in here of fear and hatred that doesn't seem to have like an obvious source, but that feeling kind of suffuses this place that you're in. It's probably kind of getting under your skin a bit. It's and it's got that feeling. The air almost feels a bit oppressive, which is possibly just partly because you're underground, but it feels like more than just that.
Okay. And is there a trail that leads away from this that is not where we have come from, or is that the only egress from the cave?
Yes. There is only really it only seems like people have been or wolves have been coming and going up and down the tunnel that you've been through.
That's a good thing. You said people, they are werewolves. Can I smell whether these omegas have changed their shape when they were in here to humans?
It's difficult to say, though. It's what you will know is it's certainly possible, but it is it's not something that's easy for you to pick up on. In general, from your knowledge of omegas, they can still, depending on how lost they are, they can still shift form, though if they've really sort of gone off the deep end, then that's when they tend to kind of lock into either their wolf or their half shift form. It's difficult. As I said, it's difficult to say from the interactions you've had with them. But if they've had enough presence of mind to kind of be existing in this area as they have been, you expect that they're not so far gone that they wouldn't be able to shift. Put it that way. If they'd gone like full on rampage mode, they things probably would have escalated more by this point.
Okay, I turn to Ghost and give him a quizzical whine. Just bump into him because this is creepy, and I really like to have this affirmation that this is a pack, that the Ghost is here, actually, because this seems like weird enough that this is more Ghost territory than mine anyway.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'm wondering, like, if there's a way that I can, because usually speak with the dead is for consume the flesh of the recently dead, uh, but the blood is old in the area, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I guess I'll give you. I think there's probably a couple of options here if you want to try and tap into the strangeness that is around you. So I mean, if you think there are applicable questions, you could just make a harness the wolf and just sort of go for the senses. Or if you could also just use an act on instinct, which could also potentially give you some information in a bit more of a free-formy type way. They're both sort of those similar sort of things. I think as well it would be possible to. I think that you could use your speak with the dead to try and communicate or to try and get some information from this place. What I will say is obviously you've been picking up on all this sentence stuff as well. This feels wrong to you. This is not a this place feels very wrong to your senses. You absolutely can contact it. It's possibly there are certainly risks involved in that might be but yeah, it's absolutely something you can do.
Yeah, I think what I want to try to do is act on instinct, and the superhuman abilities I'm using is I'm trying to connect to the land and let the land speak to me about, because the place feels so wrong.
Yeah.
So.
Sure thing. That sounds good. So that is a roll with Feral.
Yeah, which is actually not my best stat, but I recently bumped it up to a 0 with that last event, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, so rolling. That's a 10. Wow.
10, perfect. So
like it was meant to be.
You do it. Describe how you succeed. Give it a little flourish and take +1 pack pool.
+1 pack pool. I'm gonna say what happens is I push forward. There's a moment where it almost looks like I'm leaving behind my physical form, like there are these shadows of a ghost as I run through the cave trying to find information.
Yeah, Cody nuzzles at you nervously.
Wait, Cody.
Think,
Cody is with us. Cool.
I thought I was. I thought that was where.
Oh no! I think that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
and I think there too.
Yeah, cool.
I think when Cody does that, it grounds me so that ghost doesn't go too far and leave behind their body entirely. And then I push my body against Cody's, and I think everyone can hear me asking the land, what's wrong, and seeing what the land has to tell us.
Yeah. And for a moment, you hear that voice again that you heard in your dreams. And it says, I told you would come for us and we would be here waiting. Come now, join with us. Let us be part of you. But as you're saying that, you there's just a sense of for a moment another smell, just a deep earthy smell, kind of overwhelms the scent of blood in your nostrils, as another voice breaks through and says, do not listen to them. We have been bound for too long now. Leave this place. It is a bad place. They will take you. They will make you part of them. You must leave here.
And when I hear that, I turn to the others and I communicate, leave now. But there's a sense of like, we'll come back when we're stronger. We'll come back when we understand more. But there's just a word over and over again, danger.
Yeah, and the voice, the second voice will say, we wish to be free again, but none have yet succeeded.
And I think Ghost is going to reach out and ask, how can I free you?
This place is the heart of what was done to us. I do not know how to break what has been set in place here, but this place is the center of it.
And I think Ghost is torn between like knowing how dangerous it is. I think
I was going to say, is this a situation where you want to defy a tradition to see whether or not you are going to, I'm not sure, this is either disobeying the land or trusting someone you meet in dreams. Either way, it kind of feels you're disobeying some tradition.
It's true. Yeah, I think that's a good point, actually.
Sure.
Let's see. So that is guts. Let's see.
And you're rolling that at +1 today, if I'm correct from your state of the pack. Yeah.
Or is it specifically to?
Oh no, that might be specifically
no,
to
disobey me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So no. So just your guts as normal.
Okay. So rolling. Where? So many tabs. Okay. Oh, now it's a 5.
Yeah. You want to disobey, but your instinct to obey overwhelms you.
I should actually know, like, which thing are you trying to disobey? Because there's kind of a conflict of interest here.
That's a good point. I think what I'm trying to disobey specifically is I think like trusting someone I met in the dream, like knowing that my father said that I have to do something to help. And I think that's what's pushing me forward.
Sure thing, yeah. So yeah, I think a packmate is going to take so one packmate will take a tie on you. I think who makes sense here? It probably makes sense if that is Cody. I think that makes as much sense as any. As Cody was sort of interacting with you just before this happened anyway, I think maybe Cody like feels that moment of tension, indecision, whatever it may be, in you. So yeah, Cody, you can take a tie on Ghost. But yeah, Ghost, you feel, I guess, how does it look when you kind of allow your adherence to the traditions to sort of come to bear, and how does that change your course of action?
Yeah, I think I was ready to leave behind the pack if I needed to, just to make sure no one else would get in danger and to see what I could do. But I think the thought of leaving behind Cody was what stopped me. Like, I feel like I can't leave his side, that I have to remain there.
Yeah, and I think even as you make that change, you feel that second voice sort of fading, and you can feel just for a moment that sense of the more sinister spirit slips back in again. You can feel that pressure coming back into the room, that scent of blood coming back, and you, for a moment, you almost feel like the touch of this something on you, but then it fades away as kind of your bonds to the pack reassert them again, and that sense of pack kind of drowns out the voices of the spirits as you come back to yourself.
Yeah, and I think Ghost, and when that happens, I think it's quite visible to everybody that Ghost sort of like falters for a moment and weakens before pushing themselves forward again.
Cool. So yeah, Jaxon, I wanted to just check in with you quickly. How are you? What are you sort of doing while these others are? While you're all in the cave, as Ghost is sort of goes into this almost trance. What are you up to, if anything?
I think he sniffed around a little bit, but he's mostly keeping an eye on where they came from, make sure nothing starts trying to creep up on their rear.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, actually, yeah, I'll ask you while you're looking at it, if you would also like to make a roll to harness the wolf. Harness the wolf. Yeah. With feral, just to see if you pick up on any dangers or anything else.
That's a 7.
7. Okay, so you get to ask one question from the list.
I guess, what is the biggest threat to the pack here?
Yeah, sure thing. So I'm going to. So obviously, this scent is still this feeling of the cave itself is still an oppressive force. You can tell that it is unnatural. That it is dangerous, but it's also, it feels dangerous, but in a very almost passive way, I suppose. You know, it's you don't feel like you kind of, it's that thing where you're feeling kind of that danger sense tingling off of it, but not in a very imminent sort of way. And as I said, as you're sort of sniffing around, and as you're closer to the cave, as you're sort of close to the tunnel back out again, you can pick up the scents. And as I said, you can scent that the other wolves, the Omegas, had also been in here. But you pick up another scent underneath the other Omegas. It's a bit more faded. It's clear they've not been here quite as recently, But, I mean, probably again, sort of in that thing within maybe a week or so, but they're not like obviously immediately here and immediately around. But you do catch that scent, and it is it's a scent that you will recognize. You can you pick up amongst the other trails the scent of I'm just going to have to check that I get the name correct, because I always get these ones confused. You can pick up Noelle's scent amongst the other wolves. She has clearly been here, and fairly recently.
I think Jaxon would let out a little whine and kind of nose into the scent to make sure he's not just imagining it, because I think he'd remember it pretty well.
Yeah, you kind of get closer, and it is you definitely pick it up on it as Noel's, and it's possible her scent has changed a little since leaving the pack, but it is still recognizably her scent. Though, yeah, it's. I mean, there is obviously this still overwhelming, like, stale blood scent overpowering everything in here, but you can still make her scent out amongst that.
I think Jaxon would try and communicate that in his wolfy way to, old pack member here.
And I think at that, like, ghosts would like sort of brush up against Ivar in this very like, kind of like there's obviously concern, like what is she doing here? What is her scent doing here? How is she connected to the Omegas?
Can we follow that scent?
Yeah, I think so. It's probably it will be difficult to pick up once you're actually out of the cave again, you reckon, though not impossible by any stretch of the imagination. It will but yeah, you'll definitely be able to follow it back out the tunnel the way you came. It's one of those where it's they've clearly she's clearly not been as here as often or as recently as the other wolves, so that her scent was kind of lost under theirs to a large degree. But you can follow it back out of the cave if you so wish.
I mean, that would be Cody's decision, right? If he would try to find where that scent was going, maybe try to find her. But that's Cody's decision because he's the alpha. That I'm not just loping off. I'm looking to Cody.
Yeah, I think that Cody sniffs out the air as well and whiffs over at Jaxon, and I think there's like the scent of like we go hunt follow, something like that. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't certain.
I think Jaxon would, just agree. Assent.
Okay.
You can sense that Ivar is a bit skeptical because she was banished from the pack, right?
Yep.
And he'll just cock his head, like put his ears back, like, what's okay, but why? But he'll do it, sure. See where that goes. I mean, he was banished by Marcus, right? She was banished by who? Who banished her? Marcus? Daniel?
I think Marcus's dad. Or no, Marcus was the
Alpha after Daniel, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, Daniel then.
Oh, okay. All right then.
Yeah, that's. I think that yeah. I think yeah, you're right. I think it was Daniel who had banished Noel, and for as well for a while, Camille was with her. Though Camille was never banished, she followed her away for a time. But yeah, that's I think that's more or less the timeline for those events. But yeah, cool. So as you emerge from the cave, yeah, the others will be kind of patrolling around the exterior of the cave. So I think that was Abigail, Camille, and Marcus are all kind of yeah. Camille and Abigail are both looking fairly alert. Marcus is less so, as he's but they're all three of them are kind of looking out, ears twitching and noses up around the area around the caves. You emerge back out into the light.
I think Jaxon wouldn't repeat what he smelled to the others. He'd leave that up to Cody.
Yeah. And so, as a reminder, is Ghost how out of it is Ghost?
Yeah, I think Ghost is still. I think by now they're mostly recovered, but I think Cody, you notice like that Ghost is really close to you, like almost protective in a weird way that Ghost normally isn't.
Oh yeah, I think I'm. Oh, because I know. I think that like Cody kind of looks at you, Ghost, and says, "Stay, help. We go find." Something like that.
And I think Ghost looks confused, but nods.
And I think, yeah, Cody gestures at Jaxon and Ivar to follow after him and follow out the scent.
Okay. I will stand a little in Cody's way and give a little growl, like hunt or find.
Find.
The growl gets a little stronger because you know that this is because she was banished from the pack, right?
Yeah, and are you trying to dominate me?
No, I'm trying to ask you if you're aware. I'm trying to make you aware of this is that we have this tradition in our pack when someone's banished. That
Yeah,
I don't know if
okay.
that's.
I'm gonna dominate you then.
Okay, yeah, that's probably the better thing. Yeah.
I didn't know if you were pushing it. Otherwise, I would have let you throw that out.
No, I'm not pushing it. I'm trying to make you push me. That's,
okay, I just wanted to check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an 8.
Okay.
I believe that is on an 8. The situation is mostly under your control. I think you either take -1 forward to disobey my current order if they wish to attempt it. But if you don't disobey, you get to fill in a circle on the appropriate wolf-human track.
Oh, nice. Cool.
And I think that like Cody is like Marcus hurt, Ghost hurt, not more.
I didn't catch that. Sorry.
I mean, I'm trying to like communicate because we're wolves right now, so I can't
Yeah.
exactly. Like the basic sense I'm trying to convey is that right now, both Marcus and Ghost seem in a pretty bad state.
Oh, okay.
And
Mhm.
like she is their mom, and I kind of feel like murdering her is going to probably cause a lot too many problems in the pack.
I mean, that's not what I was pushing here to murder her. It was
Okay.
more like, what do we do when we find her? And I think for this, if they wish, no, I won't disobey you. I will fill a circle. I think I will fill a circle on the human track, actually, because the thought of what are we going to do in the future is a very human. What are the consequences of our actions right now is a very human way to think about things, less than a wolf way. Does that make sense? Nobody's contradicting me.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds good to me.
Cool. And I think this brings a close to the scene here, probably.
I think so too. Yeah, and I think as well because we've just gone past the hour, so we'll take our first break here. If we come back about 10 past, and yeah, we'll pick up from there.
Should we do XP for
Oh,
the scene?
yeah, can do. Yeah,
before we.
That's a good point.
Take a break.
I'll go through. So, Cody, do you feel like you hit any of your heartbeats in that scene?
I think frustrated a little bit.
Yeah?
I think I also hit the physical closeness.
Yep, I'd agree with that. Ivar, do you feel like you hit any of your heartbeats in that scene?
Well, mostly loyal, and I definitely use the physical closeness as well.
Yeah, perfect.
So I'm getting an advance.
Cool.
Another one.
Jaxon, do you feel like you hit any of your heartbeats in that scene?
I think maybe Torn, because he's kind of thinking more human than wolf at that point.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. That's cool. Perfect. And Ghost, do you feel like you hit any of your heartbeats?
Yeah, I think between loving and trying for sacrificing, I think.
Yeah, that sounds fair. Awesome. Cool. So yes, anyways, we'll take a quick break now. So this is just after 10 past, we'll come back, and we'll see where we go from there. Awesome. So welcome back, and I think we will pick up and break off into a if I remember, remind me again who was going where. Ghost, were you staying with your family? Was anyone else staying back as well, or?
I think I had told Jaxon and Ivar to come with me, or maybe just Jaxon. Yeah, at least, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
No, you told Jaxon and Ivar.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Excellent. Thank you. I think Ghost, as the others head off, I think Camille is going to come up to you and kind of drag you away from the others for a bit. and she is once you're kind of back, it's not going to go far away. But once you're back away from the others, she's going to turn back into her human form, and sort of stands there, looking down at you with her arms crossed.
And Ghost pointedly does not transform back, like as a sign of I'm not ready to have this conversation right now. I mean, it's very obvious, right? Like Ghost is not trying to hide it.
So it's going to be like that, is it, Ghost?
And I think Ghost whines a little bit, like and pulls their ears back, like, you know, like the way like a dog will get on their belly, like, I'm too cute to be upset with. You know? Except it's a huge wolf, you know.
Yeah. And she says, I'm not falling for that shit this time, Ghost. Look, I'm not gonna tell you who you can and can't be with. That's not who I am, but we could smell him on you, and after what he did to Marcus, I'm worried for him. Marcus, I mean.
And I think like Ghost brushes up against her in wolf form, and I think acquiesces, like changes back into their human form and puts their arms around his sister, and he says, I didn't know that I had to choose between pack and family. Aren't they the same thing?
Well, they certainly were. I don't know about now. Look, Marcus hasn't been the same since Celia died, and since I left, since whatever, and I think I don't know how losing the alpha to Cody, I don't know what that's going to do to him.
And I say, you know as well as I do that being alpha, it was bad for Marcus. He was using it to hide and not face his feelings and his grief. Now he finally has the time to properly grieve. We can be there for him without the pressure of alpha on his shoulders.
I hope you're right. And she does kind of gives you a squeeze back, but that means you need to be there for him, not fucking his ex, yeah?
And Ghost like deeply blushes and says, I don't even know if it's going to happen again. I mean, why would anyone more than once with me? I shouldn't be talking to you about this. You're my sister. And I'm going to check on Marcus now, as
And she'll sort of sigh and say, yeah, sure. Look, just keep an eye on him. He's not taking any of this well. I'm just worried.
And I think before Ghost leaves, they turn to look at Camille and say, none of this is your fault. So just remember that.
Sure thing. I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
And I think like Ghost reaches out and holds her hands and says, I know that what happened was difficult. And if there's anyone to blame, then it's me. But I'm going to do right by it. Don't worry, okay?
Yeah, sure thing.
And then Ghost will kiss her on the top of the head, and then smile a little bit before changing back into a wolf form to catch up with Marcus.
Cool. Yeah, and I think we'll skip over to the others again. So yeah, as you are heading out, I think I think you'll be able to kind of pick up the trail of Camille. Of Noel. It is fainter. I said it's she's obviously not been here quite as recently, but you do manage to get it up, and it is as well. It almost her scent is almost more muted than it should be. Even for the length of time, whether that's just a quirk of a quirk of the weather conditions and whatever else, or something else, you're not sure, but it's definitely you can still pick it up and follow it well enough to get a bearing on where she's likely to have begun. You are going to be venturing further north, further into the deeper woods, away from town. It is, I said, rougher territory. The trees are much closer together. It's wilder in general. But you have a good enough scent to, like I said, pick up the direction that she's gone in, if not to the exact location. So how does it look as you're all off on her trail?
I think Jaxon would be not in the lead, but not bringing up the rear either. This is his thing. He likes investigating.
Cool.
Yeah, Ivar is still a little hesitant, so he won't take the lead either. But he
Yeah,
will watch out for trouble.
Yeah, I think so. Cody is definitely taking the lead then.
Yeah, excellent. So I guess I'll ask how how are the three of you getting on at the moment? Do we get very much that kind of this is just business, or is there something else going on? Do we feel like?
mean, I feel like neither Cody or Jaxon have the emotional maturity to not to keep this entirely professional.
Yeah, I think as much as a wolf can give the cold shoulder, I think he's being very perfunctory to Cody. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Cody's probably snapping up at Jaxon as a bit more than is necessary as well. I saw that. Saw that slight shake of the head from Ivar.
Yeah, that's pretty much, you will see that. Yeah, he's not happy with the whole, oh, we don't like each other, we behave like little children now, very nice, you're the alpha, my dear friend, so please behave like it.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think yeah, I don't think I'm going to I think you will. It probably takes you, a few hours of travel. It will be yeah. I actually can't remember what time of day we said it was last time, but we'll say it's getting on towards evening by this point. When you finally pick up a strong enough scent trail now to actually like close in on where Noel is likely to be. And you will find as you're sort of coming over like a crest with sort of woodlands that you can see there is down below a little, it looks like one of those kind of like hunting cabin type affairs, but you can see like there is clearly like a light on inside of it. There's probably even some smoke like coming out of the chimney.
Yeah, Cody sensed the air, and I think that I am let's see, what's the name of that move here?
Harness the wolf or something else.
Yeah, I think that's the
that's
yeah,
the kind
I'm harnessing the
yeah.
wolf to figure out, to see if there's anything to see if there's anything I should be keeping an eye out for.
Yep, sure thing. So yeah, that is a roll with Feral.
Oh yeah, and this is a question I wanted to bring up. Do the stat changes persist beyond the scene? I was assuming they did until you just reverted back, but
yeah, I think it's a bit of a thing. I think if you're staying in wolf form, then they can stick around.
Okay.
If you wish, I don't see a problem with that. Obviously, they will definitely change once you go back into human form. But
okay.
like I said, in a couple of like fairly connected scenes like this one, I don't see a problem with it sticking around.
I'm rolling 0 here anyway, so
yeah, no worries.
But I just want to. Okay, and that's a 6, unless someone wants to help me out.
Yeah, we have team pool. I mean, pack.
I think Jaxon would, because this is an investigation.
Yeah. Excellent. So yeah, I think you've as you said, you've been kind of scenting the air and keeping an eye on things as well. And I think you're maybe able to assist in this endeavor. So on a 7 to 9, you get one question.
Yeah. There are a lot here I want to ask. I'm gonna ask.
The thing I will give you obviously for free is, like I said, you can smell that Noelle is absolutely in the cabin. She is here.
Okay.
That's
so I guess what I will ask then, if I know that, is what smells wrong here?
Yeah. So it's one of those things where, you know, you said that, as I said, the kind of the trail that you followed here was weak. It was enough to pick out, but it was a weak scent. So you know, you were having to kind of um, you're having to kind of scent out. You were scenting out, and that scent that you got back in the cave, that sort of rancid blood smell. It was one of those smells that kind of stuck with you. You know, at the back of your nose as you came up here. But as you actually pick up Noel's scent within the cabin, you can smell some of that blood smell intermingled with her scent. It's and this you can definitely smell that is like on her.
I think I mean, just to also set people up for the opportunity to get some circles filled. I think I gesture at Jaxon and Ivar to keep their distance, and I revert back to human form.
Sure thing.
And I'm pretty certain Noel was probably banished before I joined the pack, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'd say that's likely. You probably were aware of her as a person around town.
Yeah,
Before,
I
but
assume that, but I don't think we have a personal relationship. I just wanted to
Yeah.
double check.
yeah, cool. That makes sense. That certainly makes sense if that's what you want to go with. Anyway, put it that way.
Yeah, I think that Cody, like I call out, hello, Noel, I'm from the pack. You don't know me, but I'm kind of the alpha now. I just came here to I just see Ivar's silent judgment in the background. I just came here to talk.
Yeah, and the door to the cabin will open. Noelle is stood there. She's wearing kind of like a sort of you know, kimono dressing gown type thing with which is tied closed, but she will kind of wave you inside and say, indeed, come in. And yeah, she will sort of step back away from the door and go inside and sort of allow you to follow her in.
Yep, Cody goes in.
I'll stop keeping my distance then and pad up to it. I don't want to go in, but I want to be close to listen what they're talking. No, not exactly what they're talking about, but the tone of voice.
Yeah.
Like if it gets threatening to anyone, I would like to be able to, I don't know, jump through the window and snarl at those who need to be snarled at.
Yeah, sure.
And also, I would like to know: are there more people than Noel and now Cody in that cottage?
You didn't send you certainly didn't send any other wolves. Put it that way.
Well, humans stink even worse. So,
if you would, but yeah, you don't think there is. You didn't pick up in any major sense here. Yeah, you said it's possible, like humans tend to have less distinctive sense, and you know this has that air, that scent. This is definitely a place that people have come to in the past, but yeah, you don't get any like recent human sense here.
Okay.
Particularly.
How long has it been since Noel was banished again?
a few years, I think. If I keep losing track, I must admit, of the exact timelines, but yeah, it's been a few years since she was expelled from the pack.
So Jaxon would have been an adult when she left.
Yeah. It's not like years and years ago, but it's been a little while. Noel is sat sat at a table. It said inside it's what you expect. It's fairly kind of bare bones. It's clearly intended to just be someone's like hunting cabin, but she looks like it's obviously like she is using it. For how long she's been here, it's difficult to say, but she is obviously sort of in residence here at the moment. She has a she will have made some she has a pot of tea sort of on the go, and she will pour a cup for you, Cody, and push it across the table. She'll say, "Well, Alpha, sit."
Yep, Cody will go ahead and do that.
She will take a sip from her tea, and sort of look you up and down and say, "So, young one, how did you manage it? How did you take that power from my son?"
I kind of give a little embarrassed and like I'm just kind of thinking of how to phrase this. I sent him into a sulk, I guess, and shrug a little bit.
And she will quirk.
Deal
actually.
with that, Mom.
Yeah, and she will actually sort of quirk a sort of half smile at that and say, "I have been able to sense a little the weakening of the bonds that held my family together. I suppose I should not be surprised that things have reached a point that they are fraying entirely. I wonder how much longer the pack will last. But still, for you to have taken it from him without taking his life, that is a remarkable achievement. Your spirit must be very strong."
Well, I mean, I did have an ex that said I had a really good aura before he stole my wallet.
I see. Well, and to what do I owe the pleasure of this little visit? Are you here to invite me back in to join the fold?
I mean, I'm sure that Marcus and Ghost would appreciate being able to see you again, but I'm also a little bit worried about letting you close to them, considering the whole hanging out with Omega's thing.
And she will laugh at that, and her eyes flash purple as well, and say, "Well, what else was to be expected? I have been expelled from my pack. I have no bonds. I have no tethers. I have no family anymore. I have had to improvise."
I honestly don't know about any of this magical stuff as much as Ghost or even probably Marcus. But is there any way we could help you with this?
I think that Ghost could help me. He has always had a sense for this kind of thing. I had hoped so much for him. I could, I'm sure, work with him.
I nod and I kind of look around the room. I hear what you're saying. I'm just kind of thinking here. As much as I may be the alpha now, but this is Ghost's decision whether he wants to help you or not. But if we're going to do anything here, I'm going to need to make certain that you don't lead the Omegas into doing anything stupid while we're gone. And I think I'm maybe trying to dominate here.
Yeah, sure thing. Is this is sounding more on the hearts and minds?
Yeah,
I
wasn't intending it, but I think I actually managed to hit that.
Yeah.
And that's I didn't either way. I got a 13.
Perfect. Yeah. And so on a 10 up, I think it still works the same as it still works the same as regular dominate. So I think you get against an NPC, I think you get a
It's an NPC, they more or less go along with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So she will say, "Of course I will keep them in check. I had mostly been using them to monitor things. in town anyway, so now that we have a more open dialogue, I can ensure that they are no longer a threat to the town.
Cody kind of nods, but in his head is kind of thinking, okay, Marcus and Ghost Mom is basically the Wicked Witch of the West. I think that explains a lot. I'm going to go to Ghost with this then. Oh, thank you for the tea. Honestly, like all tea, it tastes like nothing to me, but still. Steven enjoys tea, but I think
Well, thank you for being so reasonable. It is rare, certainly amongst those born as wolves, to be quite so open about this. Perhaps this is perhaps more packs should incorporate those bitten into their ranks, into their leadership, shall I say. But I shall let you leave. If you wish, take my message back to Ghost. I look forward to hearing from you, from them.
yeah, and I think Cody gets up to leave. And is Ivar still there listening in outside?
I think he didn't get the whole conversation, especially not the Omega part, because otherwise he would have been through the window. Yeah, well, Omega, no. But he understands that there was no kind of threat made, just a tense conversation, but she didn't try to kill you or maim you or anything or dominate you. And yeah, well, that's as far as that goes, I'm kind of okay, but the conversation has been going for a while and I'm worried.
Yeah,
So,
and I think when I get outside, I look down at you and I say, look, Ivar, I understand your look, I understand that you're just trying to look out for me, but I'm going to need you to lay off her for a little bit. We're not going to pick a fight with her. And I think I'm also dominating you to keep away from her.
I know I don't have a problem with this because I don't know the Omega part. I will, of course, totally flip out if I understand
Well,
about
we'll see
that.
how this goes, because
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
want
yeah.
to roll.
Yeah, sure, roll it. Roll, go
And
ahead.
that's a 9 on,
Okay.
so yeah.
Okay. So, okay, I think I'll go along for now. I mean, okay, we get back to the pack for now, but can I reserve not obeying this until
They do specify in the rules, you either disobey now or you're going along with it until like the situation changes.
Okay, the situation hasn't changed for now. I will go along with it. Then
Okay.
I will mark a wolf thingy. But right now I have no reason not to go along with it.
Yeah. And I just want to check in as well. Jaxon, is there anything you want to have been doing while this conversation has been going on inside?
I think he'd be behaving, pacing maybe a little anxiously, but he's definitely starting to get annoyed at all the dominating Cody seems to be doing.
Fair. Cool. So I think with that we will we'll kind of conclude the scenes around this, and we'll pick up some indeterminate point in the next, probably like the next day by this point, once everyone has got together, has got returned back to town, etc., etc. And I think we've probably got a couple of scenes that are likely to come up, but we'll see. We'll see what people want to do. So I'm going to check in, I think, first with Ghost. Is there a scene you would like to see, kind of in the aftermath of all of this?
Yeah, I saw Ghost as like nervously baking too many pies until the pack comes back in an effort to like get over their worry. I think when people come home, the house is filled with the smell of pies. Like they made 12. It's way too much. Like they made everybody's favorite, like 2 of them. And so, but I think there's going to be a scene with Marcus. I think Ghost is going to try to get Marcus to like help out with the pie making, or at least talk to Marcus if Marcus isn't into making pie.
Yeah, sure thing. So I think Marcus has come in as you're cooking. He's gone over, he's got a beer from the fridge, he's drinking it. Obviously, like as is established in the fridge, werewolves don't really get drunk, but he still drinks regardless, and he's just going to he's just going to kind of lean back against the wall as he drinks a beer, and waves sort of the bottle to all the various baking going on, and he says, "So what's all this in aid of?"
Yeah, and like I think Ghost is like, their hair is tied up and there's like their apron is on, but they're like unusually messy, like it's on their face and like in their hair a bit, the flour and stuff. And sorry, I just saw the chat. It's an American beer that actually the few I've tried is not great. But yeah, so I think Ghost will, while trying to put one in the oven, will be like, what do you think we should make for Camille?
I don't know, I guess what was that one? What was that one she had that when we went down to the coast as kids, at that diner?
Oh, it was all that sugar. Crack pie, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I'll go ahead and start making it. I say as I open the fridge and open the cupboards looking for the sugar. And I'm like casually like handing him the measuring cups without asking him to help, but like because the measuring cups are in his hand. And I just say, you're going to need both hands, so you'll have to put down the beer, I say.
Yeah, and I think he'll kind of finish off the sort of neck the rest of the bottle, and toss it in the recycling, and he'll say, "Sure, fine, whatever. How much do you need?"
after that last conversation I had with her, maybe enough for 2 pies. I say. And maybe I should also get ice cream. Maybe we should run down to the grocery store. Like, it's very obvious that Ghost is like overcompensating. And then suddenly Ghost just turns to Marcus and is like, we should talk about what happened with Cody. We haven't had a chance to.
I mean, you mean the whole him taking the pack away from me, or?
Yeah, that one. That is exactly just that part. There's nothing else to yes, that part.
I didn't think it was even like a thing that could happen. I mean, it's like this was what I was supposed to do, right? I mean, I was supposed to be the alpha, and now I'm not, I guess.
And then Ghost is pointedly not looking at Marcus, but is gathering the ingredients and says, well, I was supposed to be enough magic for the pack to hold it together. Mother made sure of that, but I didn't fulfill that role, and I turned out okay.
I mean, I guess.
You know, Marcus, there's a difference between being part of the pack and being forced to be what we are not. Don't you think?
I suppose, but how it just feels like it's all coming unraveled. I just don't. I can't. I just can't seem to keep a hold on anything anymore.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. You've had to let go of things, and that was painful. I think maybe this time, why don't you just let us hold on to you? Okay?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe it would be better if I just went away for a bit, left all this, and just kind of, waves, the kind of measuring cup around, just get out of here for a while and just be on my own for a bit.
And Ghost, I think, puts down the ingredients a little too heavily, like bam, they're like on the table, and then Ghost clears their throat. We're pack, and we stay together. You can have your space, but, and I put my hand on his shoulder, but Marcus, please, this is not the time for you to be on your own. This is when you need family more than anything.
And I think for a moment he's almost awesome, but then he kind of shrugs your hand off and says, I don't even know that we are a pack anymore. It's just all it's just all gone. It's not there anymore.
And I think with that, Ghost looks a little crestfallen, like wondering why Marcus can't sense the connections between the pack. And I think Ghost says, Marcus, I think I really love him, and I think we're really a pack. I think that we're broken and we're healing, and I think it's going to take time, but I think the connections are there. We just need to believe. Don't you think Father would have wanted that?
I think no, I think that's right. I think you are Pack. You're clearly happy here playing housewife for the new alpha, and I don't think I am anymore.
And I think Ghost looks confused and is like, but I made pies for all of you. I don't know. I haven't made Cody's pie yet.
Whatever. And he just, he just puts the measuring cup down on the counter and says, I don't think you're going to fix all our problems with baked goods, Ghost. And he's going to turn and start to walk out.
Yeah, and I think when that happens, like there's a moment where Ghost reaches out, but looks around and says, well, I guess I'll just eat Marcus's share then.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so I think that's what we'll call that scene. I think we'll take another quick break now. So again, we'll take about 5 minutes. So we'll just have to 10 past. And we'll XP wise, do you feel like you hit any of your so I guess actually I'll start asking you, Ghost. Well, actually, it says you appear to be currently maxed out on your human path. So, excuse me.
Yes, I'm good.
We'll go to there. Awesome. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so we'll take a quick break there. See you in about 5 minutes time. And
also, once again, I think you hit on Spill Ghost with an NPC. So you should probably add a pack to the pool.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, we'll see you back in about 5 minutes, and we'll pick up with some other scenes that people want to see. Yeah, speak to you all in a minute. Yeah, so yeah, I think Jaxon, was there a scene that you would like to see?
Oh boy, I think it might be time for Cody to find out he got beaten to the punch.
Yeah, sure thing. So yeah, where sort of sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
Is this the next day though? Or is that the same evening?
We can set this. We can have that happen that evening if you want. Yeah, it that doesn't matter much for my personal. What's it? We can go wherever people feel like time wise. So yeah, no. If you want that to be sort of that evening when people get back, that's cool. Or if everyone to go to the next day or whatever, that's fine.
I think it would make sense to do it on the same day because I'm not sure, unless the next day is Sunday, perhaps. I'm not sure Jaxon would be in a hurry to go back to the house. So,
I mean, if it's the next day, I would like to have another breakfast scene with Paul just to see the awkwardness turn up to 11 or something.
or we could do that. Yeah, sure. Would it be breakfast at the house or at?
Oh, breakfast at the Anderson house. Because it's a tradition that they have breakfast together, and I don't think werewolf this or that would not break this thing that they've had been doing for the last few years. So, or maybe it would. Maybe Ivar comes down and notices that Paul isn't there, and that would be bad for him, kind of. But of course, he would just soldier through. I don't know. That depends on what Paul is doing that morning.
Yeah, I think maybe that's well from that then. That I think maybe Paul has like got up. He has sort of like made a pot of coffee, but he's just kind of like leaning up against the. He's sort of just even maybe like pacing around the kitchen, sort of drinking coffee, but yeah, he's not like sat down for breakfast kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I come in, pour myself a pot of coffee because coffee is life. Say good morning.
Morning, Dad. How's it? You were out late again last night.
Yeah. I had some stuff.
Like wolf stuff?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So how does all that stuff work? I mean, is it? What do you do?
Well, I'll explain, but not on an empty stomach. Let's have some. Oh, look, we've got cereals here. So, yeah, a little silence while I make up my breakfast, and then I say, look, we have a kind of territory, you'd probably call it, right? That we use, that we have, that is ours, I guess. And I'm sometimes there are dangerous things happening, and I'm taking care of them.
I mean, dangerous like what? Like
there are a few things that are I mean, there are dangerous animals, of course, bears and stuff like that, but that's mostly dealt with in a there's not a lot of violence. There's a bit of growling sometimes when a bear tries to encroach on our territory. But there are other things. There are okay, has Jax explained to you that to be one of us, you have to kind of be connected to others? And Otherwise, you'll just forget who you are and become a howling murder ball, something like that.
No, I don't remember any howling murder coming up in our conversation.
Oh, well, yeah. If you're one of us, if you're a wolf, then you have to have a connection with the other people, right? Something that tethers you to your humanity, to who you are inside, so you don't get dragged down by the whole I mean, I don't know. There is part of what we do that we're not just humans or wolves. We can be very scary things in between, and there's a certain, I don't know how to say this. I'm not a man of words. There's a certain urge to use this physical power that you have, and yeah. And if you don't remember who you are, then I think you will get overwhelmed by that urge. That will be all that is left in the end. And these kind of, it happens. Not everybody can tether to another being or a pack or anything. If that happens, then that person, well, goes bad. And sometimes some of these things come sniffling around our edges, right? Try to encroach on our territory, maybe hurt some of us.
So you're like fighting these people.
I don't know if they're still people, really. I mean, this, and I show him the left arm that is that is kind of mangled and scarred. This didn't happen with a thresher.
Right. Well, that's
and that's why I was worried, right? For well, I didn't want you to know, because it's a dangerous thing, and I don't want you anywhere near this. Didn't want you to worry about me. Didn't want you to come up and try to help me in any case or form.
Well, I think it's a bit late for not being close to it, Dad.
Yeah, I guess not, but okay, yeah. You're not wrong on this, but you know, when I told Enid, she went out with a gun to help me, and that did not go great, because there is a human with a gun is not a match for what we are. That's why I didn't tell you. That's why we didn't tell you.
Okay. Well, I think I'm probably going to need some more coffee. And he'll head over and fill his cup up again.
Yeah, me too. And my coffee pot is still full, but I'll drink some and then refill it.
Cool. Yeah, and I think that's where we can leave that one.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. So yeah, with that said, yeah, Jaxon, did you want to have that scene with Cody?
Yeah, certainly.
And did you want did you want Paul to be present for this, or is this more just going to be Jaxon and Cody speaking? Do you think?
Stephen, what do you think?
It depends on like how like I feel like this it might pull the scene over a little bit in the Cody direction if we included Paul in it as well. And I feel like Jaxon hasn't gotten a lot of screen time, so I'm fine kind of having it more of a between the two of us.
Sure. That sounds good.
All right. So I think it's next day, maybe kind of parallel to Paul and Ivar having breakfast. Jaxon maybe he'll come by with some coffee for Cody. Because they're going to have a chat. Assuming that Cody's at the house.
Cody's, I think Cody's at the house.
And he'll let himself in and kind of locate Cody in the kitchen, maybe. And hey.
Oh, hey. I'm just kind of. We haven't seen you around the house the last few days.
No, you haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Here, and he'll just kind of thrust the coffee out like unceremoniously.
So this is like actually made coffee, just to clarify.
Yeah,
in
like
my head.
Starbucks or
okay, just
Starbucks.
double checking. Oh, you know we have a coffee here.
I need to take some pics at the cafe, so thought I'd be nice.
Cody really tries to suppress rolling his eyes, but is not able to.
Jaxon will just kind of turn away and yeah. So you're still wanting to invite Paul for dinner?
Yep, I am.
I mean, I think he might be a little reticent. He's having a bit of a time dealing with the fact that we're all werewolves.
Yeah, we were all. You told him?
I did.
We were going to tell him together, Jaxon. And
how would that have gone with us ambushing him? All of us. Oh, hey, surprise. My secret work? Werewolf shit.
well, I mean, I imagined like a banner in my head, obviously.
I'm not sure that would have helped. And I don't think Party City makes those. Surprise.
I mean, I was making one myself. I kind of ran out of room at the end, so it's more werewolf. But anyway, that's besides the point. This is just like you, Jaxon. It always is. You always have to make everything about your fucking self ever since you came in and stole Paul. He was my friend first, Jaxon.
I didn't ask for this. I didn't know what would happen with Paul. And if I were truly all about making things about me, I wouldn't be here. And I think you know that.
I guess.
I didn't want to have to tell Paul, but he's my tether. If things had gone badly, it could have gone really badly. You're going to have to start thinking about stuff like that. That's your job now, Alpha.
Yeah, and I was actually gonna say it, like, well, he's my tether too. Because I think, like, I mean, we are BFBBFs, as we've established before.
Jaxon
Oh, no.
will,
Yes, yeah.
he'll kind of like try to suppress the surprise at that. Well, I guess that means we're stuck together.
Look, as much as I hate to admit it, you are not the worst person that Paul has dated.
That's not a particularly high bar, but I'll take it.
Well, I mean, yeah, there was that guy in college, but he turned out to be the guy that his last boyfriend was cheating on him with, and was actually still cheating on him after they started dating with the ex-boyfriend. But up until then, he maybe was going to take ahead of you. No. I think, sorry, let me I don't think he's that petty. I think you seem to actually care about him, and he seems to, and I kind of mumble this, like you for some reason.
Go figure. You're a part of his life, and I get that. And I get that you're not going anywhere. I'm not trying to steal him. I'm just trying to make this work. You can respect that, or we could have a problem.
I can respect that. I kind of take a sip of the coffee and then say, I'm still going to make fun of you for taking photos of this, though.
I wouldn't expect any less.
And I think we both spilled to each other there.
I think so.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
And oh right, also let's see. I think I definitely marked frustrated this whole scene.
So we get ties on each other.
Yeah.
Which I think fills, yep, that fills my track for Cody.
Cool. Yeah. So if you would fill the track, then you drop back down to having one tie on them, but you mark a point on your path.
No, does it fill it or does it? No. When you say you filled it, Jaxon, did you fill it or did you go over?
I went over. I had
Okay.
3 before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my paths are both full too. So
cool. Awesome. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, it can take the advance. Brilliant. I forget where we were. So yeah, does well, I will check in. Cody, was there another scene that you wanted to have? I know you've just got out of one, but was there something else
Oh
anything
yeah, I
else you
mean,
wanted
I
to?
assume Ghost is still like baking pies, continuing into today. Uh, uh, I think Cody runs up behind you and jumps up onto your back.
Oh, and then like Ghost like instantly goes into like carrying mode without thinking about it.
If you've got good reflexes, good.
I would hope so. Like, and I think Ghost says, "How are you doing, Cody?"
I'm doing I'm doing okay. Okay. Okay.
And I think Ghost smiles at that. Well, I don't know. Okay, might not be good enough, but we can work with that for now. So pie, I made you shepherd's pie, pecan pie, cranberry pie. I accidentally made too much crack pie, so you can have that too if you like.
And I kind of like lean over and I go, that all looks pretty good, but and I kind of lean back and nip at the back of your ear. I was kind of wondering if we could deal with these complicated feelings I'm working through in a slightly different way.
Oh,
And
without
I
pie?
am making my scrapping move here.
Ooh, nice, nice.
Because once again, Cody's super classy. And that's a 6. And you know what? If unless you want to have an idea here, David, I have an entire idea of how I can make this super awkward.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
I kind of like am thinking, I realize this is probably going to lead to this not happening, but I kind of had a chat with your mom.
And I
And I'm
think it
still on your back.
I think Ghost awkwardly drops you for a moment
Okay,
before
that's
catching you
fair.
again.
That's fair.
So like it's just a few inches before they catch you again. Like,
No,
oh,
I'm fine with you completely dropping me if you want.
I think Ghost wouldn't forgive himself if he did
Okay.
that. But yeah, maybe like we both drop into the ground and Ghost is like, and then I think it upends some of the pies and some of the flour and some of the stuff, and Ghost is like, my mother, I which is the opposite of like, where Ghost thought we were headed. I mean, you and she didn't hurt you, did she?
No, but well, I guess since you're the one bringing it up, was your mom always so
Manipulative, cold,
okay,
disconcerting.
we yeah, that seems to match my impression of her.
Right. I mean, it's not something I can say in front of Camille and the others, but mom was um I I don't think she ever really figured out how to love anyone, I think.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
I mean, I think
I mean,
I think I figured it out. I don't
I
know, but
guess
you know.
my mom's an alcoholic, so I guess I hear where you're coming from.
Yeah. You know,
But she's gone Omega.
I mean, and like Ghost stands up and is trying to. I mean, I knew there was the possibility, but I had hoped another pack would. I mean, okay. So, and then there's a moment where like Ghost starts to shut down, and they're like, "So, what are we going to do about her, Alpha?"
Well, I talked with her and she seemed to think that you could help her come back from do we have a word for it? Omega dumb? Omega-ism?
That's I don't think we have a word for it because I don't think we ever interact with them without them trying to kill us. So, but she didn't. And that Ghost like starts looking at your body, like checking like your neck, but she didn't hurt you like physically. I mean, or any kind of hurt.
No. And I mean, she seemed more in control of herself than I've ever seen in Omega. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. And because I didn't want to ask you to do this without giving you a choice in the matter. She's your mom, and I understand that complicates things.
And Ghost looks at you quizzically, and they're like, "No, it doesn't. You're my alpha, and whatever you tell me to do, I'll do it."
But what do you feel about it, Ghost? And I'm actually, I know I just missed the last scrapping move, but can I provoke spill here?
Yeah, no, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
And that's a 10.
Nice. Yeah, so and then I'm going to
So you'll need to make the spill move.
yeah, I will choose
And I guess technically I can't demand that you actually tell me what you feel about your mother because I didn't use scrapping. So you can, I guess, deflect into some other revelation for me if you want.
and I think Ghost like looks at all the pies and thinks for a moment. I haven't allowed myself to think about how I feel about her. If I think if I did, I mean, she thought she was doing it for the pack, but she hurt me a lot, and I don't think I really recovered from that. And but if she wants my help, then I do want to give her this chance, I think. But Cody, if I mess up, you know that you have to choose the pack over me, right?
Are you dominating me with hearts and minds?
Oh gosh, I think
Because
so.
you do have that move specifically to use against me.
Yeah, I think it makes sense though. I think Ghost is really like you have to choose the pack over them. Oh, okay. I'm gonna roll. Okay, that's a 5, but I have a +3, thank God. So let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So packmates get a -1/4 to disobey your current order if they wish to attempt it. Packmates who don't attempt to disobey can fill a circle on wolf or human track as appropriate.
Oh. I think Cody, is actually going to return to like grabbing you and like does a well, maybe because Marcus was an asshole. uh, uh, sorry, side chat. I think that like he grabs you and like I think actually like trips you over and like throws you down onto the ground and like presses himself down onto you. And I say, I'm not going to let you fail, Ghost. And I'm disobeying. In the most unnecessarily sexual way possible.
And I think Ghost will be like,
well, I have to roll. I have to see how this goes.
Oh, right. That's right. That's the idea.
Okay, so that's a 9. So I believe I disobey, but it troubles you greatly. I take 1 from the pack pool.
And I think like when that happens, Ghost smiles a little sadly. Because the idea is like not letting Ghost fail, but Ghost has failed a lot in the past. So they're not really sure if that's something that's possible. But I think Ghost just like pulls you close and says, so I guess pies later and whatever this is now.
I mean, it, and I think I like lick a bit of like where the pies got messed up off your face and say pies later.
Perfect.
Awesome. I just want to frame one last little Kappa scene, I guess, on this. Jaxon, what are you doing? So later that day, for whatever reason, you're about in town. What do you think you're likely up to?
Maybe returning from a meeting with someone to photograph their wedding. Yeah, wedding.
Cool. And I think as you as you're sort of coming back towards town, you will spot a car at the side of the road. It's a fairly ordinary looking um, car, nothing out of the usual about it. But it's pulled up at the side of the road, and there is a man who's clearly like missing. It's got a tire off. And it's sort of trying to get it up on a jack. And I think he is going to kind of wave at you as you're kind of coming past. Do you stop to help?
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He'll slow the car down and roll down the window. Having trouble?
Yes, I am sorry. Not used to been a while since I've been out this way. Caught something in my tire. It's blew out. He's probably kind of an age with you, maybe a little older, maybe a little younger. He's a black guy. He's got quite long dreadlocks, but pulled back into sort of like a tail. He's wearing, but like a sort of a tweed suit and waistcoat under it. Looks that sort of like old fashioned vintagey look. And he says, "Yeah, if would you if you could just give me a hand with getting the new one on. This jack's not great." And he's like, it's obviously like just one of those flimsy emergency jacks. It's not doing a particularly good job of holding the car up, especially not when he's trying to sort of maneuver the new tire into the new wheel into place.
Jaxon will kind of pull over behind him and turn on the blinkers and get out and kind of make conversation as he starts trying to help the guy. So what brings you to Canaan?
Would you believe me if I told you I was traveling through the forest to go to my grandmother's house?
Little Red Riding Hood, you deceived me with this tweed.
Well, quite. But yes, that's why I'm here.
Well, you better watch out for wolves.
Well, hopefully I'll have nothing to fear on that front, and he's going to flash you a smile.
Most of them are friendly.
Good. And I think with that, the manages to fix the tire in place, and he says, "But you do seem familiar. Have I seen you around?"
I don't get out of town much, but maybe I do some photography.
Cool. Well, and you can kind of see that like look on his face as if he's sort of trying to remember, but says, "Well, I guess maybe I'll see you in town."
Yeah, I'm Jaxon, by the way.
Eric, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Watch out for nails in the road and wolves.
Thanks. Well, will do.
And yeah, would he be able to detect anything just with normal senses?
If you'd like to make me a harness the wolf roll, is probably best. So the thing you will absolutely get. He's not a wolf. You would know that much just on a scent.
That is feral. It's feral.
Feral, yeah, that's right.
That's 13.
Perfect. So on a 13, I think that means you get to ask, is it 2 or 3 questions? I always forget this one.
3.
3, yes.
Do I get a sense of what they really want? What he really wants?
Yes. And what I'll give you as part of that is he is actually telling the literal truth. He is in town to visit his grandmother. That part of what he said was entirely true. But you also get like a feeling that he's definitely, though that's not all. It's he's here for more than just like a family visit, or that he has a bigger you know, the reason for visiting this family is probably more than just a friendly visit, as it were. And actually, I'll throw that in as part of the same thing as well. You definitely get the feeling that he also legitimately thought that he did recognize you for a moment, which may or may not be the case, but yeah.
Does anything smell wrong?
No. Nothing smells wrong here. You don't smell anything out of you don't smell anything. You don't smell anything wrong here. There's no sense of corruption. Like I said, he's definitely not a wolf. There, you didn't smell any hostility off of him either, or anger, or anything like that. Also, like in the wider sense of it, like it also does look from like the way this whole thing happened. It does also legitimately look like but you know that he must have like driven over a fallen branch or something that drove you know, particularly like sharp piece of wood into the side of the car. It does actually look like a genuine you know, puncture, not something that was set up.
And I guess what is the strongest emotion?
Curiosity, I think. He was clearly, as I say, you definitely got the impression that he's here for something, but there is just an overwhelming sense of curiosity here, mixed in with a little bit of nostalgia, maybe, like curiosity, but with like an underlying sense of familiarity to it. That you know, he is clearly. There is clearly, you know, he has clearly had some familiarity with the place.
All right. So Jaxon will happily drive off with a wave out the window.
Yeah, he'll wave back as he sort of gets underway, and heads out. Yeah, a bit. You know, as you're sort of coming into town, he's sort of heading back a bit further out of town, one of the roads into the woods. Awesome, and that is where we will leave things for today. I'm going to stop our recording now.